All right. Welcome back. So, this is just going to be a quick little commentary. I was watching the Joe Budden podcast, and Joe brought up something interesting. He was bringing up, they were talking about unions and, should people in the entertainment industry unionize, right? But Joe says, he was with that when he was a worker. But now that he's a boss, he's thinking about things differently, right? And it's interesting because he's getting a little bit of pushback. And I think he's entering a realm as a boss, as an owner, executive, where he's realizing, wow, these are some of the headaches that they had to deal with with me when I was a worker. Just the rebelliousness, rebelling for no reason, going against a plan that's actually going to work, but the other side not understanding that or comprehending it and kind of going against it. These are things that people in leadership have to face every day because it's their job to execute the real goals of the company. And you have people that are coming in on the lower tier. They have their own agendas, but they don't understand the grand scheme of things because they're so focused on what's in front of them. And what makes it even worse is in this day and age, victimhood, anti-billionaire, anti-rich, that's a mantra and a mindset that's running rampant in America. Now, there's a lot of pushback because there's a lot of people that are winning. A lot of people are winning and coming up right now. There's some people that they're not getting it. They don't understand what's happening right in front of their eyes, especially in the Black community. Because you still have leaders that are, high level and they're waiting for their turn. Diddy falls, Joe Budden rises. There's still money to be made, business moves to be made. But when you're fighting over crumbs, the bosses are ready to link up and go for a bigger piece of the pie. The pie is out of the market. It's access, it's resources, it's trade line. Not fighting to unionize in someone else's system. That's what Joe Budden is basically telling them. He's saying we have our own economic system now. We have so much money, we are our own economy. But, the same way they unionized in the old economy, Joe, they're going to unionize in the new economy because they see you as their adversary. The problem with the new economy, or the economy with creators and, let's keep it, Black people that want to spend with their own and hire their own. You have to remember that same mindset that was prevalent with the union workers of the past and of recent. They want what they want. And if they want more and they don't even understand how that comes about, they don't care. They just want more. They see you in your Ferrari and they think, well, he paid X, Y dollars for that Ferrari. He could have put that in my pocket. That's what they think. Even though the service that they're delivering is actually the market rate. The only thing is your return on the value that their service helped contribute to was exponentially higher because you created something that's more than just their service. Their service is just a cog in the wheel of what you ultimately created, right? In your service, you essentially have workers that are cogs and wheels of other services that are saying, give me a bigger piece of the pie just because. Doesn't make sense. Instead of those cogs and other people's wheels, learning from those situations, and then deciding to create their own wheel where you have other people be cogs in your wheels. We can all be, we're all going to be a cog in some wheel. What's going on now is Black entrepreneurs and executives are creating their own systems, their own networks, their own businesses. And yes, we're never going to fully have an independent Black Wall Street, at least not anytime soon. But partnerships are still going to be very relevant. And okay, everyone doesn't want to be a boss. Well, if you don't want to be a boss, you probably shouldn't be a father. Why am I saying that? Because it's not about actually owning something all the time or leading a company. It's about the mindset. The father is the CEO of his family. This is basic. He is the chief executive officer in his family. Oh, some people are going, oh no, I'm not. Don't compare me to that. Oh, don't compare you to a leader, right? You're programmed to hate the lead. You hate the leaders. You hate the chiefs. If you're a man and you wonder why you're not in certain positions, but you're anti-CEOs, you're anti-leadership, you're anti-rich people, how would you expect the women and children in your life to be respectful of you, to lead good lives, if you don't have the mindset that you're going to lead, create, and build? You can only be a worker for so long. Because if you're working your whole life, that means you're not thinking. And just because you decide to not be a worker doesn't mean you have to take from the people that created something else that produced more than what you did at your level. See, the problem is people hate that they're at certain levels. Some things are meant for you, some things are meant for others. And if you want something, you have to work for it. You have to earn it. You have to attain it. It is what it is. You have to think of it, create it. But when they say, oh, a bunch of us little people, we're going to band together and take more, it's like, come on. Let's play a little bit and then we're going to probably wrap this up. This is going to be a quick video.
That's why I think Mark being here is like is symbolic of so many things. I believe Mark to be brilliant.
I agree.
All that Israel shit this nigga
Yeah.
So basically what Joe's saying that Mark Lamont Hill, who I think has some wild takes, but he is he works in media, fairly knowledgeable about different subjects, and as a skill set, he worked for CNN. CNN, their reputation is declining, but at one time they were one of the top news media platforms in the nation, even with some global relevance. I'm assuming. And he worked for them, and now I believe he worked for Al Jazeera, which is that's a whole different subject for another day. But now Joe Budden, who when people probably laughed at him when he said, "Oh, he's creating a network," he really has a network because ironically he hired someone that worked for one of the biggest networks in the country, CNN. So I guess that manifestation is taking place right in front of our eyes. He has a platform where he can hire someone with the skill set that was on the CNN. This isn't just some podcast. And despite the controversial takes that he says, the disagreements that I might have with him, I see the vision. I see the vision. And I hope him and Ish patch that up, man. Come on. Come on. Ish, whatever. But back to the topic. You got to create and build. It started with a couple mics in a room. Now he's hiring, people with the skill sets of a CNN reporter. for his network, because Mark is going to be relevant for certain topics with these political debates that's going on, these worldly matters and these global matters as well, because Mark is well read and that's what he does. And he's a character. He definitely is a character with those wild ass takes.
Yeah, he's the man at all that shit and worked everywhere. I don't think I'm the first nigga to notice that this bitch got body.
That's an interesting take. But I will say, you probably should be a little careful with Mark. I don't know. Something about Mark. I don't know. He did get, expedited. I'm going to say allegedly from CNN, or maybe he made it public. He got, clipped. So I don't know why he did. And just because you're saying, hey, we're Black Wall Street, you're black, I got you. There could be some character things and reasons why he's separated. So, I mean, that's not for me to say. That's for, for time. Time will tell with that one.
She just happened to slip through the cracks of many people, and now you land.
This dude said that you were a baddie that got lost and abused, and I found you. The Joe Budden Network found you. Holy moly. Oh, let's fast forward a little bit.
That have black people around. So when there's a black issue,
black.
So now we gotta go outside and just bend over for these niggas.
Joe, what I'm saying, okay, when you say we, now I'm gonna be very.
They're gonna say you rich, bro. You rich, we're not. They stop hearing all that stuff, man. Once they reach a certain point, if they ain't got no quote, quote unquote motion. If somebody don't got no quote unquote motion, and you talking all this, this is the dream, this is how we come together, and you pulling off in your Ferrari, and they taking the Honda Civic or they taking the bus or Uber. Come on, bro. They ain't trying to really hear that. I get it. I see the vision. I'm building businesses. As a matter of fact, I got some new stuff driving for people. Very soon. We got some, I don't even want to, got some surprises coming. Just wait on it. Valuable asset, baby. But some people, they don't got that, That's one thing you gotta give Ish credit. All the stuff that Joe was talking, right? And people want to split up him and Ish. Or people don't like Ish. Ish is the only one up there with his own brand. Ish be on different podcasts working. I've seen Ish on more podcasts than Melissa Ford. I don't care if they bigger names, medium names, lower names. Ish be working. I've seen Ish on Bag Fuel. I've seen Ish on See the Thing Is. Ish on whatever them. I don't know, some female podcast, a bunch of them. I seen Ish on EYL. Come on, and he runs his own real estate company. Amani, no offense, I don't know what you got going on outside of the pod. Ice, I don't know what you got going on outside of the pod. I think you have some stuff. You have some opportunity to get some business, get some rental properties, but you didn't grasp it. I don't know why. And again, this is all just post. This is just talking about the characters of the Joe Budden podcast, the things that they present. I don't know these guys. Melissa Ford, she has the podcast. Queen Flip does his own thing. And Mark Lamont Hill does his own thing. But Joe Budden's talking about leveraging the world that he's created, basically. The world that Black Wall Street is becoming, because he's the black guy with a lot of money, resources, and a platform. Ish is going up there using that platform, but you shit on them. The shit is ironic, man. You can't make this up.
Direct and blunt.
Do it.
You are the owner of this. You are the person who takes the brunt of everything. You take the most. You pay.
He got butterflies in his hat. That's why, man. You must be seeing butterflies making the takes he about to take.
Out the most. You do everything, right? Mm-hmm. If I come on as a salary worker, whatever, right? And let's just say there's me and multiple people who are working at the same pace, and we all have a discrepancy. We at some point will have to unionize within each other to bring that to you.
Bro, bring your problem to me in the vid. What you mean unionize? Why y'all talking about y'all business together? Y'all like y'all dating? What is going on? This is what I mean. Like, huh? Your situation, your relationship, your role, it's all different. And if it's not different, your performance is different. I'm gonna handle people, handle you accordingly. But y'all tag teaming to kind of make this, the fact that you making it a us versus this is a team, this is a business. That whole mindset is that kills productivity right then and there. Why do you think unions used to sneak into companies? People think, oh, because they're trying to help. No, because they're trying to sow the vision so they can make money. Unions make money. A lot of time unions charge ridiculous fees. They take a percentage. And a lot of times there's nothing going on for years. There's negotiations that happen, maybe once a year. And then, you have a set raise, or you have a set, growth now. Now your growth is limited. So no matter how good you perform, you're tied to that union that you decided to create. Because now, since you want to bind with this knucklehead, I'm going to treat y'all the same. So now your uniqueness is gone. So no matter if you suddenly get way better and much better, you become a bigger asset, it doesn't matter. You're going to be compensated according to the union rules, which means, whatever we agreed to. Right? You just tied yourself to another entity, brother. Instead of just saying, F this union, I'm going to work with my boss or the dude that's running this show, negotiate what I bring, whatever I bring, be happy with it, take it, maybe reinvest it into my own thing, control that completely, grow that, because there's a thing called compounding. When you own a business, you see more of a return. You take a bigger risk, but you get a bigger reward. That's how it works. So if you don't take no risk, what you talking about? So if you're going to unionize, then I'm going to treat the whole union accordingly. And I really don't want to deal with the union. I want to pay my people what I want to pay them. But you want to kill that? All right, we'll teach you a trick.
And you have the option to either shoot it down or say, okay, I'll work with you. Even on a small independent level, that should still be able to exist.
That's one way to look at it. That is one way to look at it. That exists. So
I can't play too much of it.
Well, yeah, that's the key.
But that's not how life works, Joe. Everyone's not going to be the boss of. For you to make this work, for you to make this work, you have to have workers.
25.
What does that mean? And everybody has a different role, bro. What you talking about? See, I don't know, man. When people start talking like that, I don't know how Joe do it. But Joe's also, he a little liberal. He be saying things that make me think, like, what are you talking about? It's crazy, man. I don't know. But we're going to end it right there.